Really good. Okay, this is Anthony, you guys. This is your inspector. And Anthony, what you got for us today?
Hey guys, just real quick, I'm going to kind of go over the entire report with you, but I'll give you an idea of what we inspect and what we're looking at. So first off, it's a visual inspection. We didn't tear holes in the walls or anything like that, but everything that I can open and close, get in, get on, turn off, kind of a thing, I was able to do so. The property is built in, I believe, 1961, a little bit, so it's a little bit older, but ultimately they've done a lot of repairs and upgrades over the years. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into the report. So, I don't have you on here for 10 minutes. So it should take a few minutes to go through. A couple key points or icons to look for. You're going to have a blue circle with an eye, which is just for your own general information. You're going to have photos of every room, below the sinks, aerial shots from a drone, the attic space, very small attic in this property, so you'll just see a couple images there, and the pool, equipment, all that good stuff. Then you're going to see an orange triangle with an exclamation point. That's going to be any defects we found. So my whole goal is, because you're not here, I want to really try to tear the home apart per se, just so you have, if there's any questions, concerns, we answer them. Just remember, I don't write up cosmetic items, and there's a few items that I actually did put on the report that are cosmetic, just to kind of let you know. But little dings and dents, small defects, wear and tear, it's very common, so I keep that off of the report. First off, the first negative item or small defect, there's some cracks in the exterior walkways, driveway, pool, area. It just happens. Hey, we're in California, get a little bit of movement, and we're right here, and you can see Mark showing right outside, and you're going to see images of these throughout the report. We do have a lot of vegetation on the property. I would recommend trimming any vegetation that's in contact with the exterior walls, the roof, and you'll see some photos of those as well. Just kind of open it up. There are some palm, I don't know these, like date palms or what kind of palms they are, out front that are in contact with the exterior block wall. It doesn't look like it's pushing that block wall, and it's a small, little, like a pony wall. It's maybe 2 or 3 feet tall and separating your property line from the neighbor. But just to let you know, the palm tree is in contact with that. So you may want to remove them or, just watch them over the years.
So is the wall moving because of
it?
It
doesn't
right now?
appear to be. From what I can see, there is a lot of vegetation out there. Looking down, it still looks pretty straight.
Okay, so it just happens to be in touch.
It's just, they grew in it, they kind of deflect, but ultimately the root ball over time could create some issues.
Okay.
We do have a few outside receptacles, so the outlets that are in contact with the elements, meaning the exterior cover that's supposed to protect them from moisture, it's been removed or it's failed over the years. So you'll see a couple of those outside that I recommend installing the proper covers. I'm not sure if this will come up on the phone, but you'll see that's a perfect example. We need to have a cover plate like this on there.
Okay.
So,
and where did you see those mainly?
There's one in the back, right by the little fountain. That's the one that I have the most concern with, because it's near the pool.
There.
And anywhere there's moisture. So, and that outlet right now is currently not energized. And I'm assuming it's probably because it's faulted or shorted because of moisture being in contact. We've had quite a bit of rain. Well, 1 day of rain.
Yeah, we had one day of rain.
One day of rain a few days ago for the first, probably only one for the whole year. But.
So wait, you had mentioned just in passing that the light for the pool was not working. Do you think? And you said. And
I have a pretty good feeling, because in proximity to the pool light, and there's another receptacle or outlet in line. And that entire system, those 3 outlets or components have no power to them, electrical to them. So I'm assuming the first GFI has faulted or tripped because there's a fault somewhere. There's moisture in contact with live electrical, and it shut itself off. So I would just recommend having an electrician or a pool guy take a peek at that and ensure that figure out why the pool light, number 1, is not working.
Right. And
then secondly, just to ensure that it's nice and secure, so we don't run the risk of having any electrical hazards. Obviously, I don't want you guys getting shocked.
Okay.
There's a couple windows. There's a small chip. I noticed this from the outside. It looks like probably a rock or a weed whacker or something. It came up and hit this little chip in the glass right here.
Okay.
It looks like they've put some type of a resin or epoxy on there to seal that off.
Right.
It's yellowed a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. It's a large, that would be something down the road. If you're ever going to replace the windows, then you change them. It's not like it's created a weak point. It doesn't appear to be.
And the guys are a little concerned about the windows. Are the windows fine?
With these windows, Mark, with these windows, it's very common. We see these in, countless homes out here. It's quite common. I found a couple small cracks or chips. So I found another one like that in the garage. But these windows are solid. We're not getting any flex. Sometimes you'll see these really wafer thin single pane windows, and we get that. Here, everything's functional. You know, you have, and we'll just talk about it while we're here. You can see there's a couple areas of dry rot, and all that's happened there, and there's another one out front, is just moisture or condensation builds up on this exterior wall. It runs down, and if it doesn't have caulking around the base, it seeps in behind that raw wood and then just soaks into the wood, and over time, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some dry rot. So, you know, my recommendation would be, you know, you replace that trim piece, they seal it back up, you keep a good coat of paint on everything, and you're not gonna run into those issues. Sorry, I had to unlock my phone again. Okay, and with these masks, it doesn't auto-unlock.
It doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, it's like, who is this? So the garage, so your garage is actually connected to the property, so we consider it an attached garage, but we do not have a direct access door or what we call a fire door that leads to the interior of the home, which is fine, you don't have to, but we check the clicker. You have an internal button that's inside the garage that works, and then there's two remote controls located in the kitchen drawer that we were able to use. There is an access door at the rear, but those doors, there's a padlock on it right now. So you can access that from the exterior. Let's say you're living here, it's a little different. You just leave that padlock off so you can come and go from the garage if you would like. There are some minor cracks in the garage floor, pretty common. You know, you're gonna get a little bit of separation. There's one junction box or a receptacle cover that, you know, there is not an actual outlet there. It's just a box with some wiring. It just needs a flat cover just to keep it.
Just keep it protected.
Yeah, just
so
you don't
that,
want to
okay.
stick your finger in there and grab some live electrical. Getting onto the roof. So this roof is probably 20 plus years old. That's what I'm looking at. There's a lot of tree litter or debris or droppings that you'll see. The original color of this roof is white just because they have, you know, for like the radiant barrier type thing, but there's a lot of tree litter. So you can kind of see from this image, and you're gonna get all of these images, but, and it's just, I would maybe a blower, you can get up there and blow that off, just so you can kind of get an idea. There is some wear and tear on the roof. So I always recommend, especially if, you know, somebody hasn't, you know, certified the roof in the last couple of years, just to have, we call it a tune-up, a roof maintenance. They'll come up, they'll ensure all the roof penetrations are sealed properly, just so you don't get that heavy rain and all of a sudden you know we're getting leaks or. You know,
well, and we did just have a heavy rain,
and that is very true. We had it came down, and I did not see any stains whatsoever in the ceiling throughout the entire property. So that's a huge plus. There is some tree or some vegetation that's in contact with the roof. You'll see, you know, recommend trimming that away. So for the fireplace.
And there's kind of two reasons you do that. One is it wears the roof, but then also rodents can come up.
That's their little ladder. So if you can keep them away, and I didn't see any pest droppings, but ultimately, you know, you never know. The fireplace, you have a true masonry fireplace. You know, they don't make these any longer. So this is you can actually burn wood. You don't usually recommend doing that, but you do have natural gas, and everything looks good on my end from here. If you ever truly plan on burning wood, I would recommend getting what is called a stage 3 chimney inspection. It's a chimney sweep. A guy will come out with a camera, stick it up the flue to ensure that we don't have any cracks or issues or anything like that. The only issue that I wrote up is my concern at the very top, and we're missing what is called a spark arrestor. It's just a screen or a cover that goes on the top to prevent embers from exiting, and you know,
if you were having a real fire.
If you're going to burn a real fire. Yes.
Okay. If you're doing a gas fire, there's no sparks or embers. Okay.
I would maybe recommend installing some type of a deflector, just so you don't get moisture coming down the actual flue there. Oh, yeah, there are diverters on the bottom, but you could get a real nice little decorative top, like they come out of copper, steel, whatever, and it just diverts the water. And it keeps the critters and birds out.
Mine is actually just like that one. I have yet to get
out. Okay. So it's very rare to have an attic out here, to be honest with you. So there is a small attic. It's about 1.5 feet. So it's not really much of an attic, but you can see where they've done some repiping over the years. It's located in the back closet. I was able to literally just get my arm up there with my camera to take the photo. So there's really not much information to give you about it, but hey, I did poke my head up there and I did not see any issues.
And speaking of repiping, you had mentioned, did it look like it was copper?
Well, there is some copper, I didn't know, but I do see that what I'm looking at up here, it looks like gas line, that they rerouted some gas, I think probably up and over to maybe add gas to the kitchen. Maybe they didn't have it originally, it was maybe electric.
Okay.
But you can see some of the plumbing there. I saw some copper on the exterior. I just didn't see any exposed stuff, and obviously, you know, we can't see through the walls. I wish I could, but water pressure was good. A lot of times, you know, if the home had been sitting at all, I turn on the tub, you would see rust. I did not see any rust or anything coming out. So that tells me, hopefully they diverted from the galvanized piping, and, you know, and I'm sure there's still some galvanized, but I did not see any visible issues, I would say.
I remember the guy saying that their insurance had mentioned the roof, back to the roof, sorry, was about 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Does that seem about?
It is, it's really hard to say. I said maybe 20 plus just because of looking at the tree litter. You know, I try not to walk on these, you know, that with especially with the drone, the images are incredible. And it's just safety and, you know, wear and tear to keep off the roof. And it very well could be. It's just right now with the rolled rock material, you know, they could have put a membrane over the top of it. You'll see that, that's usually, and then the, you know, original, let's say the paper could be, you know, 20, 30 plus. It's just they put a paint material to seal everything off. In the state of California, we need to have carbon monoxide and smoke detectors throughout the property, which we do. And so that's a good thing. Main electrical panel has been upgraded over the years. It's not the original 1961.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a newer panel, and you'll see that on the north side of the property. Water pressure, like I was talking a little bit earlier, it's right about 78 pounds. We want to be between 60 and 80, so we're good to go there. Your water shutoff, so I kind of found that it's around right there on the south side. You're looking at the front of the property, the left side, you have that gate. You walk into the gate, you make a hard right, it's in the corner, right against the property. Right next to the water heater enclosure. That's the main shutoff. You'll see a yellow handle. When the valve is in line, it's on. Perpendicular, it's off. So just so you know, that's the most probably important thing that I can tell you just as the inspector to say, hey, if there's ever a problem, run there.
Turn that on.
That's where you're going. And this is what it looks like, right like that in the corner there.
Got it.
And that's all copper. Everything that you see right there is copper. So
and with the new electrical, I imagine, I mean, it seems like they've done a lot of updates.
They've done a lot. They put a true furnace. They put they kind of rerouted the water heater, everything like that. So it looks good. Speaking of the water heater, it's strapped. It has everything we need in the state of California, minus what is called a SMIDI pan. There's a little pan that sits underneath there. It's because it was not the code when they installed that water heater. Now, if you replace that water heater, you'll have to put a little pan right there. It's not a big deal. The water heater is installed in the closet on the exterior of the home anyway, so it's not going to leak into the home if there's a problem. There is an outlet inside the water heater closet. I didn't make too big of a deal about it, but just to let you know, proximity of the water heater is not the greatest, but, you know, I would definitely put a cover on it just in case it ever did rupture. We don't have water into the live electrical. You know, technically, you were supposed to have at least 3 feet, but, you know, with the age of the home, that's how they built it. You know, it's if it was a brand new home and it had that, it'd be a different story. The furnace and the air conditioning system looks like they were both manufactured in 2007, so that's a huge plus. They were both replaced at the same time. We were getting on the heating side about 103 degrees out on the heat, and it was quite cold this morning here. I mean, for us anyway.
Yes, it was cold this morning when we walked in here.
It's, you know, in the 50s, which is, you know, us Californians, we can't handle that. But so it was putting out about 103. It worked really well. On the cooling side, it was pulling in about 71 degrees and putting out 41 degrees. So we had about a 30-degree split in a matter of, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, which is incredible. We usually like to see 12 to 15 degrees, so we're well above that. I recommend changing your filters every 90 days and then servicing the system at least, you know, once a year if possible. Kitchen space, I didn't find any issues in the kitchen. Everything is functional in the kitchen, just some minor wear and tear. Cooktops functional, dishwasher, the sink, you know, everything looks pretty solid in there. Bathrooms. So my whole philosophy behind today is if it's gonna break, I want it to break today. So what I mean by that is I'm flushing toilets 3 and 4 times while I'm running a tub, a shower, and a sink. Kind of unrealistic. But I couldn't get anything to back up or leak. So that's a huge plus. And that's in both bathrooms. I did note in the main bathroom, the shower diverter. So when you engage the shower from the tub spout, all the water, well, let's just say 90% of that water, you know, I prefer 100% of the water should divert to the shower head. This is about 50-50 right now. So we're losing about 50% out of the tub spout, diverting the other 50% to the shower head. And that's really just the diverter. That piece spins off, they put a new one on, and then you're not wasting water, and you get that water pressure that we all like. Then I took photos of every room in the property to show you the state that it's in today, in case something changes. Not that it would, but just to let you know. As far as the pool, so any direct access points to the pool, we need to have door alarms. So it lets you know, hey, there's somebody that opened the doors. It's really set up for children.
And need to is a code requirement, but most people don't have them, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
That is right. I always just tell you, but
they make a lot of noise, so
they're a nightmare. They're obnoxious, and everybody takes them off. And you'll always notice because you'll see a little bit of
goo,
goo on the wall at the table. They take them off. But the big one for me is the side and the gate. That gate needs to self-close. Just because a lot of people are walking, coming up and down the street. You want to protect yourself. So if somebody were to walk in your backyard, fall in the pool, and drown, you could come back and say, hey, they had to open my gate away from it. It wasn't open. They came in.
So does it have a spring on it, or
it does not?
Okay.
It does not. And it's an older hinge or gate, so it would have to probably be reworked a little bit. But it's something that can be done without a problem. Everything on the pool worked with the exception of the pool light. So it does have a heater. The heater fired right up. There isn't any leaks on the equipment. You do have the little fountain that you can see that turns right on. There's no problems there. And it's just a valve that turns that on. You have one pump and it's very simple. It looks like this is a chlorinated pool. It has some type of I didn't see a salt cell.
Oh, that's not a salt cell there?
It's hard to say because I didn't see the actual component that would normally feed that. What it looks like to me is it's showing that it has, I'm gonna double check.
Okay, because I looked at that box, I'm like, what the heck is that?
I saw the Jandy box and it says 10% chlorine on it, and normally, because I checked the box originally for salt, but I didn't see the component. But I'm gonna look again just to double check.
Okay.
So like I said, the pool light, and then there's some other areas of live electrical that's exposed. So I would recommend that just to be addressed, and that's over by that pool light switch. And then just the plaster. The plaster is a little bit older, and there's some stains and some defects. Pretty common stuff. Everything else for me on this property would just be considered cosmetic. Little dings and dents, some paint. It's really kind of what you want to make of it. It's it's a solid home, and it's a nice home. It's really nice, especially for the age and what they've done here. So please, if you have any questions, concerns, let me know. I'm going to be sending over a contract and a form, just so we can handle payment, and then I'll send you over the report.
Great.
So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You guys have a Happy New Year.
Thanks, Anthony.